Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 2020 Roll-ympics. I'm Derek Derrickson, and we're going to start off today's events with the Dice Tumble event, a fan favorite for sure. Here we're getting a nice aerial view of the track. You'll see that a lot of wonderful games have volunteered today, including many competing in the event. Just a reminder of the rules, the dice will be tumbling from the dice tower down the staircase of games in 4 groups, 4 dice at a time. They get points the further down the track they go, and if they can land in one of our special cups, they will win a 15-point score and a good chance of qualifying for the next round. And introductions to Heat A. First, we've got Ghost Fighting Treasure Hunters. And we've got a little cannibalism on the team. That's generally frowned upon, but for ghosts, not alive, so okay. Here's the Secrets of the Lost Tomb. No! Was that an accident or a bit of inter-team violence? Well, Guards of Honor, Han Solo, and Chewbacca were not having that. Oh dear, someone tried to storm the field in the Gears of War, but they took care of him with zero tolerance, and here's Star Wars Rebellion. And we're seeing a little bit of pent-up animosity between our Honor Guards and the team. Definitely not a good look as we start this tournament out. And here again are the scores for the different levels in the Dice Tumble, but the teams are really hoping to get those 15 pointers by landing in the cups. Here's our 4 teams for our first heat. We have Star Wars Rebellion, Secret of the Lost Tomb, Gears of War, and they are off, and oh my gosh! 2 teams out on the first round, and one team got in the cup. A great result for Secrets of the Lost Tomb. Let's see that again. So Gears of War, they just jumped off. They seem to be confused, and the Ghost Fighting Treasure Hunters found a flaw in the course. Did they get out in the side right there at the bottom? Well, the engineers might need to check that one out again. That could be protested, but Secrets of the Lost Tomb off to an early lead. 15-point result there. Very happy about that. Here we go on our second round. And a very good result for 3 of the teams, but Gears of War still seem to be a little dizzy after their poor showing in the last round. So Star Wars, Secrets of the Lost Tomb, Ghost Fighting Treasure Hunters all scored 9 points. Gears of War is trailing only 4 points in the field. Just a reminder, as we go into round 3, only 2 of these teams can advance, and there we go. Gears of War finally finding the stuff to really compete. Ghost Fighting Treasure Hunters came up a little bit shorter than they would have liked. And Secrets of the Lost Tomb is off to an early lead with that 15-pointer. We'll see if Star Wars or Ghost Fighting Treasure Hunters can pick up second. No, it seems like Gears of War hit an early stop. Look at this! Secrets of the Lost Tomb and Ghost Fighting Treasure Hunters in the same cup. Now this is a little fishy. You have to wonder if there was some kind of agreement between the two, but there you go. They will both score 15 points there in the final round of this first heat, and that clinches the pair of them moving on to the next round. A little questionable there. Star Wars and Gears of War can't feel great about that. But there you go. The first heat of the Roll-ympics done. Secrets of the Lost Tomb and Ghost Fighting Treasure Hunters move on. Both of the heavy hitters from Fantasy Flight eliminated early. They cannot be happy with that result. Alright, our next heat, we start off with Hellboy, the board game. And, wait, I'm not sure. And yes, okay. There was some sort of firefight there, and then wrestling with tentacled horrors. Definitely an odd team dynamic there, and here's Renegade. One of the dice does not seem to know where to go, or maybe the team just doesn't like each other to stay together. And a classic, of course, winner of several tournaments, Monopoly, but my gosh, they were attacked by just a panoply of miniature monsters there. Mechs vs. Minions, one of the teams that has spent the most on advertising over the years. And here we go, Mechs vs. Minions, Monopoly, Renegade, Hellboy the board game. See how they do in their heat. Oh, and looks like there was some kind of foul there. Let's watch it again. Yes, part of the field was actually knocked off by Mechs vs. Minions. Kind of poor form there, but it did get them a 9-point round. They can't be too sad about that. And oh, a complete misfire for Hellboy, the board game. It almost seemed like one of the teams might have pushed them, but the referee didn't call anything. Renegade didn't get very far either. Monopoly and Mechs vs. Minions off to an early lead. Nice pair of 9-point rounds for Mechs. Oh, I'm pretty sure. Let's see this again. I think yes. It looks like Mechs vs. Minion jumped over the wall early. I think they're going to, yep, they're calling that a 0. So brought their early lead to a halt. Monopoly jumps ahead with 9 points as we go into the final round. Let's see who clinches the 2 spots. And oh, did Monopoly get in a cup, the only one for this heat? They have to be happy about that. They're just kind of showing off after they were already ahead. And the other 3 teams did have good showings, so that means our 2 advancing teams will be Monopoly and Mechs vs. Minions, but a very close showing for second place there. So Hellboy and Renegade are eliminated. And Hellboy, we saw, the team didn't seem to have their heads in the game for this one. They were definitely fighting a bit before the start. And here for Heat C, we've got a new one, Atlantis Rising 2nd edition, first time in the tournament. And oh my gosh, some aquatic murder there, it seemed. Sword and sorcery. We've got one of our friends, a 3-headed dragon. He seems to think he can lead the entire team to victory on his own. Another dungeon crawler, mice and mystics. And Han and Chewbacca had to get involved there as well. This has just been a very, very interesting podium. And Descent Journeys in the Dark, this is a crawler heavy heat here. We'll see which ones can make it. There we go, Atlantis Rising. A larger die, not a usual strategy, but we'll see if it works for them. No, not too well. They kind of get held up, but Descent gets a great early result, going into the cup right off the bat. That's 15 points for them. And Mice and Mystics did get a 9-pointer rolling all the way down. Round 2 for these ones. Oh, there's a bit of a melee there at the top before they came down, but another cup result, this time for Sword and Sorcery. Look, even though they got held up, they still found their way to the 15-pointer. Atlantis and Descent not doing well at all. Atlantis Rising seems to be a little bit uncomfortable with the event. Again, this is their first time here. Ooh, we got another cup. There's been one in every round. This is definitely the highest scoring proceeding, and that was Atlantis Rising. Wow! They have got to be happy with that one. And that'll make this 4th round very, very contentious, especially with Descent kind of showing up short there. It is anybody's game here, folks, as we go into the 4th round. Sword and Sorcery a bit ahead, 1 point ahead of Mice and Mystics. Oh, and Sword and Sorcery does not advance at all. Atlantis Rising comes up a little short, so that's going to decide it. So Mice and Mystics and Descent. Oh wait, actually we have a tie between Descent and Atlantis Rising 2nd edition. So we are going to have a showdown round. Let's see which of them can come up. Atlantis Rising. This will be a Cinderella story if they advance. Oh my gosh! Apart from Heat 1, that is the first time we've had, I think, a double cup for the same team in one round. We're going to round 2. Let's see if Descent can make up the dip. Oh, they found the same cup, but Atlantis Rising got ahead in the end, so they're still barely hanging on to the lead. Descent seemed to follow the exact same line they saw that Atlantis Rising took, and definitely paid dividends for them. And oh, Atlantis Rising, showing their inexperience now. They definitely went into the wall there early. They could have gotten a good bounce from it, but it just slowed them down. Descent pulls into the lead by 2 points. It all comes down to round 4. And oh, Atlantis Rising seemed to throw a tantrum when they saw Descent pulling ahead of them, just knocking into the stadium. Poor sportsmanship there at the end. It should have been a nice performance for them in their first showing, but now that's going to taint it a bit. So that means Descent, Journeys in the Dark 2nd edition, is advancing, along with Mice and Mystics. Atlantis Rising, Sword and Sorcery, both eliminated. Now we're looking at our final competitors in Heat D. We've got Wander, the Cult of Barnacle Bay, and again, just... sorry about that. It looks like they actually attacked the cameraman. That is... And Fire Team Zero seems to have decided this is a disco party? I'm not really sure how the judges feel about this. Here we've got Project Elite. One of the largest miniatures there in the back, and they just brought a whole crew of fans, but just showing up again, Sword and Sorcery, that dragon cannot be held back. And then finally, Mage Knight, a smaller, more subdued crowd here. You see they've definitely been to the Roll-ympics several times. They know how to behave, so there are dice. Fire Team Zero coming out larger. Mage Knight sending one of their smaller competitors in this time. Now I think we had one die. Yes. Blue die. Wander, the Cult of Barnacle Bay. Oh, but actually the judges are going to count it. I thought they went off early, but it looks like they still got 5 points. And Fire Team Zero got an early lead there with a 9-pointer. Once again, you have to question. The stadium is scoring more than the teams. How well was this constructed? Who designed it? Questions for later. For now, we have to keep on with the competition. Fire Team Zero had a poor showing there. Project Elite did a lot better, but Mage Knight, surprisingly with their smaller than average dice, off to an early lead. But this time you really saw the heavy dice throwing their weight around. Falling far, Project Elite got 9 points, Fire Team 8. We do have a tie for first, Fire Team and Mage Knight. Wander just 1 point behind going into the final round. Look at that Mage Knight die. They would not be held back. They just rushed to the front of the field. A big 29 points for Mage Knight. Great showing there. Fire Team Zero barely edges out Wander, the Cult of Barnacle Bay. That means both Wander and Project Elite will be eliminated. Mage Knight and Fire Team Zero advancing. And with that, we have our semi-finalists. Mage Knight, Fire Team Zero, Descent, Mice and Mystics, Ghost Fighting Treasure Hunters, Secrets of the Lost Tomb, Monopoly, and Mechs vs. Minions.